All right, good morning and welcome to our program TVC Breakfast. It's a Friday edition, which a whole lot of people on this table really love. My name is Itoma Edu.
Well, I don't know if I love Fridays, but good morning, Nigeria. Thanks for joining us from Monday through to Friday. We have kept you glued to your TV every morning. Today is definitely going to be a very special edition. Yes, I promise you that. The name is Ria Abdul. Thanks for joining us.
Indeed, Nigeria, it is time for breakfast, and I, for one, am very grateful that it's Friday and that you're choosing to spend your morning here with us on the TVC Breakfast Show. You are very welcome. My name is Olamide Ojekunle.
Most definitely, some Fridays also feel like Mondays because we always have to be here to ensure that we give you all the information that you deserve to know. I'm Ibrahim Shita, and thank you so much for joining us again.
Today is going to be a fantastic Friday.
Well, Amide introduced herself. Yeah. I thought I heard Bolanli.
No, I don't know if I love Fridays or Thursdays, but I tell you what, my problem with Fridays is because I'm not going to see them tomorrow, although the show will continue tomorrow, but I don't get to see them tomorrow. But anyway, it's been a fantastic week, if I would say so.
It's been, I think so.
Ibrahim, great
Sure,
week.
sure, very well.
All right.
Very well.
Well, there's a lot to talk about on the show this morning. You know how we do it. At some point, Ibrahim will take us through all the headlines from the newspaper, and then we will go to FCT where we'll have conversations in Abuja. We'll come back in Lagos. We have great interviews. I just want you to keep your fingers crossed. We'll let you know what we'll be talking about, and then the beautiful Olamide will take us through trending now, everything trending all around the world. So please grab your cup of coffee and let's have a fantastic show. But we'll start with the story where the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, says the federal government is working to accelerate the judicial process, aiming for speedy trials for inmates awaiting trial. Now, Mr. Tunji-Ojo, who spoke during the unscheduled inspection visit to the Medium Security Custodial Center in Kuje, Abuja, insists government is committed to decongesting correctional centers, especially for awaiting trial inmates. Now, he said the ministry was working closely with the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation to bridge the gap in the time frame for conviction of inmates. Now, the NBA president, Afam Osigwe, in his remarks, said he had requested for the data of inmates awaiting trials and to know if there were cases pending against them.
Come and see the living condition of inmates, to see and interact with the inmates directly, see what they are going through, listen to them, hear directly from the inmates, even without the CJ. As you know, we wanted to see their well-being, we wanted to see the medical facility, we wanted to see their skill acquisition centers, we wanted to see them actually practicing their skills, and we actually wanted to see the Open University and other facilities.
Something struck me, seeing a man who has been condemned to death, teaching over 30 persons tailoring skills. For me, that's rehabilitation. Yeah. That shows that the essence of a correctional facility is being achieved, to change them and prepare them for society, for integration into society. And that's why I'm living here with a commitment to seek and get the approval of our National Executive Council to set aside a fund, an interest-free loan, or a grant to persons who are being released from prison to help them start up a business in life. And we'll do that with our next meeting is next month. And as soon as we get that approval, we'll put that fund in place.
And this is a very, very important conversation. I think this is not the first time we've had this conversation on this table. Oftentimes, we hear a lot of prison breaks. Etoma, you know, in 2012, we heard about the Damaturu prison break. About 40 inmates were freed. In 2013, we heard about the Ondo prison break. You know, I can go on and on. In 2022, we heard about the Kuje prison, break, where we see people just break out of these prisons. We've asked questions that, what are some of the reasons? Sometimes we hear that these facilities are old. Sometimes we hear that, okay, it's decongested. There's so many people inside and there's no even space again. Now there are people that are waiting trials, and you see that they now stay in prison for longer times. So I'm happy that right now we're having this conversation and we're thinking about making sure that we decongest these prisons, because when we do that, I think it will eradicate more of these prison breaks and all of this that we hear.
Yes, talking about decongesting prisons in Nigeria, it's a rhetoric that has been going on for years. We've had several, I don't think there's an administration that came that decongesting the prisons didn't come out as a topic at a point. But we've not had much being done about it. First of all, let us look at the age of our prisons themselves. I don't think there's any prison in Nigeria that's less than 30 years old. Yeah. They are old prisons. They are not renovated. New ones are not built.
Exactly.
And we have so many inmates awaiting trial. Some of them have been there 7, 8, 10 years awaiting trial. Now, that is a breach of their fundamental human rights. If no, I don't have to be a lawyer to, to know that. Why should you keep somebody awaiting trial for 10 years, even for 1 month? Why should you do that? So there was something came up that I had to point out the fact that our judicial system grinds very slowly, you know. So we need judicial reforms. For those people awaiting trial, we need judicial reforms that will make the judiciary hear their cases faster than it is being done now. Some of them that are awaiting trials are there for very minor offenses, you know, and they spend years hanging there in the prison. So why wouldn't our prisons be congested?
Which is totally unfair, actually, to anybody. But Olamide, there's this thing I thought about. Like, when last did we hear they are trying to build a new prison? I cannot remember when last we heard something like that. We are all focusing on those old prisons and also talking about decongesting it. Why is it that the judicial process is this slow, that people are there for just little reasons and they're still there for a long time, you know, just awaiting trial?
Absolutely. I'm really glad that this is being highlighted. I think oftentimes we ignore our prison systems. First of all, when we talk about decongestion, there is so many benefits to decongesting our prisons. For one, better sanitation, better humane treatment, better living conditions. Number two, when you decongest a prison, you actually allow them to have a lesser chance of reoffending because they have more resources like vocational training and studies and more resources for them. And studies have shown that this actually reduces their chances of reoffending. This is the disparity between the amount of inmates that are awaiting trial versus actually convicted inmates is very, very scary. For example, at the Kuje Custodial Medium Security Center, there's 804 awaiting trial inmates as opposed to 200 inmates that have actually been convicted. That is 600 extra mouths to feed that are at the mercy of the justice system. But they're now saying, the Nigerian government, I read in an article, that they're saying that now they want to employ digital measures, for example, virtual court systems that will allow them, and also engage with key stakeholders like the Nigerian Bar Association and pro bono lawyers, that will allow them to better handle the amount of people that are waiting trial. But I asked a question, if we can't handle traditional court systems, how are we going to handle
Let me come to you quickly on this one, Ibrahim. You know, we've spoken about it. We're now looking at virtual, just like Olamide said. Do you think that that will work? And also, this Kuje that she mentioned, this is a prison that we have seen a prison break. You know, people have run out of that prison. Do you think if we decongest it, at least it will save us the prison break?
Of course, that's the essence of the conversation, which the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Ojo, also, you know, made mention. We've actually looked at prison reforms, you know, several occasions. That's why they changed it to correctional facilities, because they do not want to see them as criminals as they are. Maybe, of course, the court, some of them have been convicted, sent to prison, but that's one of the problems that we have. Justice system in Nigeria believes in incarceration. So if you've offended, if you're guilty of any crime, go to prison. If anything, you beat your wife and others, go to prison. If you beat your wife, go to prison. Everything, go to prison. So, you know, as against, you know, what about community service? What about ensuring that these people go through, you know, some form of punishments to expedite, you know, the justice system? So these are the things that we need to look at. But how we are going to, you know, expedite all these actions is another thing. It's good that the minister is talking about it. He has been talking about it. The facility, I mean, the skills acquisition, all the trainings and the kind of food that they eat, all of those things are being considered. That's why some people, whatever they commit an offense outside of the country, they would say they want to serve their term there. They don't want to be extradited back
to go there.
To go to the prisons. But it's good that we're having this conversation. And we hope that they act on it.
It's very fantastic that we're having it. But the most important thing is that we get to act on it. Talking about even the food they give some of these prisoners is not the best. And nobody should await trial for such a long period.